everyone, it's Haze. We're once again going to do the Miraculous Monday meme review, where my friend Hedge finds me the very best Miraculous memes from across the internet and I blind react to them. Although before we start, apologies for the slightly open door. I know it's usually closed. It's annoying me as well, the thing. However, the cats this morning have been very, let's say, active. And currently I'm at home alone filming this, so I have no one here to help me, but I also really needed to get this filmed today so it could be edited and go up in time. So the door is open. You're probably not going to see it for most of the video since I'm going to edit this down to just a square, but yeah, the door's open. If you hear any running around in the background, it's the cats. They're just active morning. Got the zoomies. You know how it is if you've had cats before. Anyway, let's start the meme review. So the first meme, new Dark Wings Rise. Sir, you're on speakerphone. And Hedge said, how Heart Hunter should have ended. Absolutely 10 out of 10 agree. That would have been amazing. How does Heart Hunter end? It's been a while since I've seen Heart Hunter. I'm not gonna lie to you. The season 3 finale, I know I'm not alone in this. Not my favourite. I think it's, I don't necessarily disagree with what happened. Well, actually that's a lie. I disagree with the Chloe abandoned redemption arc and how Marinette really takes zero blame for that. You know what I mean? Because, like, to me anyway, tell me if you disagree, Marinette was also in the wrong for going to get Kagami, which I feel like everyone acknowledges, because definitely to me a big part of the reason why Marinette went to get Kagami was because her and Adrian were about to kiss and she was like, absolutely not having it. But also at the same time, it's just hypocritical for Marinette to do that because Hawkmoth also knows Kagami's identity, so... Okay. So there's one thing I don't like about the season 3 finale. I don't mind the Master Fu giving up his memory part. I have mixed feelings about Master Fu. Sometimes I'm like, yes, it's great, I love you. Other times I'm like, what are you doing? And the relationships, they were just so bittersweet, and I had zero hope for Luca and Marinette, and I was like, I love Luca, I think he's great, but Marinette's just too in love with Adrian, it's not gonna work. But I definitely did think Adragami was gonna last really long, not because I wanted it to, I despise Adragami with everything in my soul, but I did think it would last a bit longer than, I guess it's technically 2 episodes, but truth and lies happen at the same time, so more of 1 episode with the opening of the New York special, which was also just bizarre because she kissed him here on the mustache area. That, whatever, you know, most people do go for the lips or the cheek, maybe the forehead, possibly the nose. I did like the nose kiss and elation. But yeah, the season 3 finale. A lot of people keep asking me to rank the finales and I go back and forth a lot. Season 3 is definitely my least favourite. With season, well, is season 5 worse though because the stakes were so much higher and it was terrible, they left Adrian out. Maybe season 5 was worse. I keep debating with myself, I can't work out which one I hate the most. But season 3 and 5 at the bottom. I do quite like Volpina and what it sets up and what it delivers to us in the introduction of Lila. I think it's a really great debut episode. But I absolutely adore Heroes Day. Heroes Day is amazing. And I also really like Risk and Strike Back. I think they're really good. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what my favourite finale is. As like a feel-good finale, like, yeah, we got this, Heroes Day. As a sad finale, probably Risk and Strike Back. You know, but like one thing that puts me off from naming the season 2 finale as the best one is because Catalyst is just a setup for Mayura. And don't get me wrong, what happens in Catalyst, we need it for Mayura to happen. It's just, on its own, Catalyst is quite a boring episode, whereas Risk and Strike Back, whereas Risk is also a setup for Strike Back. In addition to that, it also has plot points of its own, it has some really great Adrianette scenes. So I, like, as a standalone episode, I'm pretty sure in my ranking for the season 4 episodes, I ranked Risk as the top episode. Risk was such a good episode, forever traumatised by how it came out, oh my god, that was a day and a half. Hi sir! Next meme. His name, Nibbles, several counts of murder. I mean, honestly, like, I agree. I love it. The amount of, like, parallel universes there appeared to be why can't Adrian be evil in one of them? Like, I don't get it. Like, try having the reverse special. So at the end we see all these different universes, and in a lot of them Marinette and Adrian, or I guess their equivalents might not have been called Marinette and Adrian, are Ladybug and Cat Noir again, and I'm like, shouldn't it really be someone different? And yes, I know there is one with Scarabella and Kitty Noir as the holders, which was great, I loved it, but it's just like, really, if it's a multiverse, it really should be someone completely different. Like, don't get me wrong, I definitely think there would be more than one multiverse where Marinette and Adrian would get it. Again, if you've seen Into the Spider-Verse, so the Spider-Man in that universe at the start is Peter Parker, and you meet another Spider-Man who is also Peter Parker in a different universe, although he is quite a different version of Peter Parker. So I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, it definitely would happen again. But like, there'd also be a lot more variations than that. And that's why the Chloe thing still annoys me. I'm like, because you know how Reverse Marinette is like, Chloe, this bully from school. I'm like, she should be a good person probably, because Reverse. Marinette and Adrian are the complete opposites, so is Gaby Baby. So then shouldn't Chloe? Or is she just evil in every universe because she's just completely and utterly irredeemable? It's probably the answer. Anyway, back to the meme. What I was going to say is that there totally should be a serial killer Adrian called Nibbles, what looks like Adrian, in a multiverse. I'd love that. Next meme. Baker Girl exists. Chloe Bourgeois for some reason. And I took that personally. Look, I love it when Chloe calls Marinette Baker Girl. I think it's so super duper cute, and I definitely think she should have, like, this sounds a bit mean, but tried to like bully Adrian about it. It's like, oh, you and your Baker Girl, and he'd be like, yeah, damn right, my Baker Girl. Oh, it would have been so cute, and he never did it. She hasn't called her in ages. When was the last time Chloe called her Baker? Oh god, I don't remember anymore. I'm just feeling a bit, I guess, sad about the recent comments about Chloe Thomas made in that interview the other week on that person's channel who I've conveniently forgotten the name of. I'm gonna make a more in-depth video about it, but I'm just like, in short, it sounds like Chloe's coming back for season 6 and presumably beyond. And I'm really sad about it. I love Chloe, so it sounds like, why would you be sad? A character you love is coming back in the show. Because they're just gonna ruin her. At this point, I love her so much, I'm just like, leave her alone. Just write her out of it. I'd rather her not be in the show so they can ruin her even further, because they don't know what they're doing. Like in the interview, both Thomas and Sebastian, it's not Thomas leading the way on this Chloe no redemption, no redeeming qualities about her whatsoever train. It's the other writers as well, by the sounds of it. They're like, oh, she's not gonna have a sudden moment of realisation and apologise and realise everything she's ever done wrong. And I'm like, yeah, it's because it's called a redemption arc, not a redemption moment. It's gonna take a while. It's not gonna happen immediately. I'm gonna do a more in-depth video about it, but I love Chloe, and the fact that Thomas doesn't even think she's being abused is just absolutely and utterly beyond me. I know it's not the same as physical abuse, I know it's not, but emotional abuse and neglect is still abuse. Anyway, next meme. Translate the sentence. Je suis un papillon. I mean, I was about to say, did someone fake it? But it looks like a real, yeah, it looks like a real example from Duolingo. If you don't know, I'm studying French, mainly using Duolingo. It's going well, I think. I survived when I was in Paris for the premiere. I even spoke to Jeremy Zag using the French I learned off Duolingo. It was great. It does give some great examples. I've never personally seen this example though. What's some of the weird examples I've got? I remember literally actually just after I got back from Paris. So if you've never used Duolingo before, kind of splits the language into, I guess like modules, but in terms of like a different, like in terms of like the nouns it teaches you. So at the minute on Duolingo, I'm doing one about actually comic books, which is really cool. So I'm learning the different words you use for the writer of a comic book and the artist of a comic book, because they have specific words in French. We don't really have those in English. So it's really interesting. But right after I got back from Paris, I had a module on crime and like crime related language, and I had to discuss crimes. If a crime happens to you, how you call the police, how you describe it, and most of the examples were about drugs. It was great. Duolingo is so much fun. I know it's not great for all languages. I've tried Japanese on there and Korean and Mandarin, and they're okay for those languages. Personally, for my liking, doesn't really explain things well enough on there for me, but because French, like, It's a language a lot of people learn, and I'm pretty sure it's one of the first ones on Duolingo. It is really good on there, so I would try if you're learning French. Other languages, not so sure. It's probably good for Spanish as well, but other than that, I do not know. Next meme. It's a watermelon and a ladybug. Corporate need you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture. I love this line in the film. Speaking of the last meme about learning French, I remember when the trailer first released for this, and it was in French, I'm pretty sure, the first ever trailer, and he was calling her a pastèque, which is French for watermelon, and I was like, why is he calling her a watermelon? And it took me ages to understand the joke, and I'm like, why? Because of the pinky red on the inside with the black seeds. It took me ages. And I was like, I understand what he's saying. He's calling her a watermelon in French. But why is he calling her a watermelon? Although to be fair, I'm not the only one. Because to the premiere, if you didn't know, I didn't go to Paris on my own. I went with my mum. She's never seen Miraculous before. She has zero interest in it. She did actually enjoy the film though, even though she doesn't really speak any French. She did enjoy the film though. And when she asked me in the cinema, he was like, what's he calling her? I know you shouldn't talk in the cinema. However, literally everyone was screaming every 2 minutes. If you've seen the bootleg version of the film that someone filmed in the cinema, you'll have heard how much screaming and talking there was all the way through. I could hear everything that was going on in the film. It was just very loud, okay? It's not like any other cinema experience I've ever been to. But anyway, she was like, what's he calling her? And I was like, he's calling her a watermelon, and she was like, why? I had to explain to her the colour of a watermelon. She just didn't get it. I do think it's a funny joke though. I'm just didn't get it. Next meme. I am Shadow Daddy. Shadow Moth. He's so pretentious. You're Hawk Moth. Shadow Moth. Hawk Daddy. Hedge. Shadow Daddy. Calling him Shadow Daddy, I swear. Best decision of my life. A lot of people, I get a lot of comments still asking me like, why did you call him that? And I'm like, I don't know. I just felt like it in the moment. I was like, let's do this. And I did it. And the result was a lot of people subscribed. I will say though, Monarch Daddy, Hawk Daddy, they just don't sound as good. Shadow Cat Daddy, I liked that name, but like Hawk Daddy, Monarch Daddy, none of them sound as good as Shadow Daddy. It just, something about it just rolls off the tongue. And it's actually what got me and Miraculously Lazy started talking. He's back now. We've spoken. A lot of people sent me comments saying like, do you know she's back? I'm like, I know she's back. We have spoken. But there's just, you know, something about the name Shadow Daddy. It's just amazing. It just speaks to other people. Although I definitely still need to come up with a name to call Lila, because I'm not sure. My best name for her so far has been Edna Mode. But the amount of people who don't get the joke, even though they've seen The Incredibles, I'm like, that wig, is it not speaking to Edna Mode? Next meme. Alright guys, we gotta decide how we're gonna end the series. Have Marinette merge Ladybug and Cat Miraculous. Make Gabriel remembered as a hero. Reveal to Adrian that Gabriel is Monarch. Throw him out the window. Yes, absolutely. Although this just reminded me of this comment I got a while ago. I remember a lot of the comments. I don't remember who left them or whatever, but I do remember the general contents of them. So it was under my video where I was basically, it was not long after the finale aired, where I was discussing how disgusting I basically thought it was to try and redeem Gabriel in the last moments of season 5. Obviously not the last moments, the last moments was Lila, but in his last scenes rather, in season 5, right before the wish was made. And a lot of people were in agreement with me, which they often are, and some people disagree with me, and that's fine. However, this one person was really rude. They were like, oh my god, for a start, they didn't redeem him at all. And then they went on and on about how they didn't think that was the case, which is fine, they're allowed their opinion. But then they ended the comments saying, online discourse these days doesn't allow any room for nuance and other people being correct. You are so wrong, goodbye. And I was like, I was kind of agreeing with everything you said up until the point you said it allows no room for nuance. Surely if I'm wrong and you're right, then you haven't allowed the nuance for my opinion. I definitely agree watching it can be interpreted as Gabriel still being horrible, knowing he is leaving Adrian completely on his own and leaving his son's girlfriend and also Ladybug with the burden of knowing who he is and knowing that she probably can't tell Adrian because it's gonna absolutely destroy him and their relationship, and that he's still being manipulative in his final moments. But also at the same time, with the way it's staged and made to look in the finale, it looks like he gets redeemed, which is backed up by the fact the man gets a statue in the park that Marinette's gonna have to look at every single day because it's right next to her house. You know what I mean? Like, both things can be true at the same time. It can look like a redemption and feel like a redemption, especially to the child audience, whilst it's Gabriel also being manipulative towards Marinette still. It can be both. Some people leave the craziest comments. I still remember I got one the other day on the Andre redemption, weirdly enough. People have very strong opinions about redemptions in the show, which is very interesting to see out of everything. And they basically reiterated every single point I made in the video about how Andre left his wife and also abandoned his child to adopt Zoe and seemingly have a better life. I guess we don't know for sure yet, since we haven't seen the aftermath of it yet. But they were like, yeah, he divorced his wife and abandoned his child. I don't see how that's disgusting. And I was like, you know all the facts. You've just said all the facts back to me. If you don't get how that's absolutely gross, that I can't help you. Like, you know what he's done. If you're fine with that, then that's on you. I don't know how to make you see how that's disgusting. This man abandoning his child and leaving her with the wife he knows is abusive because he's divorcing the wife. If you don't think that's gross, then alright then. It's not, I guess. Next meme. It took 4 seasons of 104 episodes for Ladybug to get a crush on me. For me, it only took 2 episodes for Marinette to have a crush on me. Meanwhile, Catwalker. So if I want to be more attractive, should I dye my hair green too? I think it was less about the green hair, more of how gentlemanly Catwalker is. I would describe Catwalker as like a gentleman, basically. He's very nice, he's very proper, he doesn't make the weird flirty jokes Cat Noir does. Like, basically Catwalker is the closest to Adrian a cat transformation has been. Like, Adrian, he's very nice, he doesn't really make jokes, he has fun but he doesn't make jokes and puns the same Catwalker does. The only time he really does is in Ephemeral, after he reveals himself to Ladybug. And from then on, Marinette's kind of cringing in class when he does it. She's like, stop, please! As we see in Kuro and Echo, Marinette is immediately in love with him because I'm pretty sure he reminds her of how Adrian acts pretty much all the time. However, during the fight in Kuro and Echo and Adrian goes to recharge, like partway through it, he is so sad that he has to act like this and he can't be himself. To me, his true self is pretty close to how Cat Noir is like because he's been given the freedom to act however he wants to. He is so sad about it. Like, so I do feel bad for him because it's like Marinette is never gonna love the real him. And yes, I know she has a crush on Cat Noir, but it definitely, at the start of season 5, but that crush definitely seemed born out of, as she talks about, like she doesn't even know the real Adrian because she mistook him for Felix, so how could she be in love with him or have feelings for him or whatever if she can't even identify him correctly? And so she starts to fall for Cat Noir because she sees him as a safe option, completely forgetting what happened in Cat Blanc, which still annoys me. It's a huge plot hole. She should be so paranoid. If she truly did think she had feelings for Cat Noir at the start of season 5, she should be so worried, because in Cat Blanc, I know we all know what happened in Cat Blanc, what started it, but Marinette doesn't know that. All she knows is that their love did this to the world. So if I was Marinette and I was in love with this person who I know if I fall in love with them, we're gonna destroy the world, I would be paranoid every single second of my life. How do you, she just never mentions it. It's a huge plot hole. And someone tried to tell me the other day on Twitter there's no plot holes in season 5, and I'm like, did we watch the same thing? Like, I genuinely think, I said this during season 4, that we're all living in the same universe. However, Some of us get shown one version of the show that's really good and it's amazing, and then the other set of people, and I'm in this set, get shown a not so great version of the show, and that's why there's so much division in the fandom, because we're not even watching the exact same show. Because when I have discussions with people online, it literally feels like we're watching two versions of the same show. That's how it feels, because just some people don't even admit that things happened or didn't happen. Like, I remember talking to someone on Twitter and I was like, yeah, representation was useless because Marinette goes to the Egress mansion in confirmation because of her nightmare, not because of what Kagami and Felix told her. Like, yeah, they do tell her, like, the tailor, this is Gabriel, it's implied heavily it's Gabriel. They show her a cardboard cutout version of Gabriel, the tailor who has the butterfly and had the peacock and now has all the Miraculous, is Gabriel Agreste. She is told that. And she realises that because she gasps. But she doesn't do anything about it. She waits a whole day. She waits a whole day, and then the day after, the only reason she goes there is because of her nightmare to try and find out where Adrian is. Not because of what they told her. And this person was arguing with me, truly believing, it's like, yeah, but she did go there because of Kagami and Felix. And I was like, no, she didn't. She went there because of her nightmare. She was like, no, she went there. And I was like, when did she say that? She was like, oh, she didn't say that. I just knew. I could tell when I looked at her. And I was like, right. Okay. Thanks. So the final meme of the meme review is the meme reviewer viewer submission meme. So if you want to be in a chance of having your meme featured in the meme review, you need to join my Discord server, which is linked down below. And you have to make a meme yourself and post it in the meme reviewer viewer submission meme channel. I can never say that. And people will vote on it. So this week's winner is Gabe. So give budget for Marinette's clear pigtail extensions to stay in place. Increase budget to give Julika the most fire nail job ever. I mean, I do love Julika's nails. I was about to say it makes sense and she plays the guitar, not that we see her play the bass guitar much in the show. There's been maybe like, what, 3 episodes where she's played it as part of Kitty section and then again in Crocodile. She doesn't play it that often. But you know, also Marinette's, you know, the main character, maybe her hair should be attached. whilst we're on the subject of animation, and I am still feeling a bit apprehensive about the new animation. I hope we'll get a proper trailer soon. It's Miraculous Day soon, for Gloob on the 8th of August. I'm hoping they'll show something. I really don't know. They didn't do much last year, but to be fair, season 5 was over last year, so they couldn't really show much. But I'm still feeling a bit apprehensive about it. I think that's totally normal since we've had this other animation for so many years. I think it's pretty normal to be apprehensive over such a big change, because it is a big change. But anyway, besties, that's all I've got time for during this week's meme review. I'd love to know what your favourite meme was. Bye!